So you're the girl who ran in with the fire extinguisher, Margaret said. Yes, I replied, quietly embarrassed. Is your son alright? He just came out of surgery a few hours ago. The doctor said he will be fine. I relaxed at the thought. That's good, I said. Listen, I know what happened to Jeff and Louie on their first day of school. Then I told Jeff's parents what really happened to Randy and his crew. We had no idea that Jeff was capable of something like this, Peter said. I am willing to testify that Louie didn't beat up anyone and that Jeff only beat up Randy in this game in self-defense. Oh God. I am okay. No need, said Margaret. Louie is being released from jail after what happened to those boys. That's good, I said. We just came to thank you for trying to help our son, Jane. It warms our heart to see selfless people in our generation. I blushed. I didn't anything anyone would have done in my situation. I looked down. I'm not a hero. Nonsense, Margaret said. The least we can do is invite you over to our place for dinner when Jeff gets out of the hospital. With my mom and dad. It would be an honor, my mom said. It's so, then we'll call you as soon as Jeff gets out of the hospital. We said our goodbyes and then left. About 2 days passed and I was allowed to be released from the hospital. During the time I had no contact with Jeff or his family, but I heard that Louie was released from jail and Jeff's wounds were healing. When I got back to school, I became the center of attention, more or less because I was the only one who saw what happened at the party, but the people I told about were my friends Danny, Marcy, and Erica. I didn't know what to tell them, so I told them what I saw. Stuff like Jeff got his ass handed to him, said Danny. She had raven black hair with sapphire blue eyes. She was usually the most level-headed of us. At least he went down fighting. I heard he took those idiots to the hospital with them. Erica snickered. She always dressed like she was from the 80s or something. Long dye-high rainbow-colored socks with hairs to match and always wearing some kind of backpack with her. He also took Jane to the hospital. Maybe she was trying to beat him up, too. Marcy laughed. She seemed to be the girly girl of our little group. She was blonde with brown eyes, and nearly every time we saw her, she had some sort of pink on her. Whether it was the color of her shirt or the jewelry around her neck, and she was one of the biggest drama queens I know. I wish she had two or blowing something out of preparation. I told you. I went there to try and help Jeff because something was wrong, I muttered. I was the plain Jane. Brown hair, green eyes, completely unremarkable, like looks-wise. Or maybe you went to see your loved one last time before he left to go get help for himself, Marcy said in her dramatic voice. I just looked at her with eyes the size of dinner plates. Well, what? You can't deny it, Jane Acker saw. You have a crush on Jeff. Every blood cell in my body decided to migrate on my face at once when she said it. What? No, I just want to help him, that's all. Liar, I saw you leave that note you left on the desk. What was it? A confession you left for him? No, it was nothing like that. I was just... So you admit you left him a note then? What do you mean? I was guessing. She gave me a cynical laughter and then waited for my response. The other girls started laughing at me. Dana's only a joke. I was just kidding. Marcy laughed. Marcy smiled. Your face is redder than a tomato, Erica cackled. I hate all of you, she grumbled. Oh, stop being so serious. Danny put a hand on my shoulder. Come on, let's get to class. The weeks went by and everything seemed to be normal. I think Louie even made a few friends. Everything was normal and nothing happened. Then Louie came up to me one day and told me about Jeff. Excuse me, your name is Jane, right? I turned around and looked at Louie. Yes, you're Louie, right? Jeff's brother? Yeah, he looked a little uncomfortable. Then again, so was I. Look, my parents wanted me to tell you that Jeff is getting his vandals removed in a few days, so expect a phone call inviting you to dinner soon. Okay, well, thank you, I said. He was just about to turn when I said, Hey, listen, what you did for Jeff, that was respectable. Thanks, I heard you tried to help my brother with the fire extinguisher. Sure, that was cool. Yeah, well, thanks. See you around, I guess. Yeah, see ya. I was watching him walk away when I heard a little voice beside me say, Cheating on your boyfriend, are you? The fuck? I turned around. It was Marcy. And with his own brother, nonetheless. She faced a gasp. Shut up, I yelled. Then turned my head to make sure Louie didn't hear me. He didn't. Let's get to class, I grumbled. 2 days passed till the phone rang. My mom answered it. A few minutes later, she got off and told me this. Jeff is getting out to the hospital, said Jen. I looked up at her and said, That's great. It looks like we're having that free dinner in a few days, she chuckled. A few hours passed and I heard a car pull into a driveway across the street. I looked out the window and saw Jeff's car in front of his house. It's Jeff's home, I thought. I decided to watch out of curiosity to see what he would look like. Dear God, how wrong I was. His dad got out, then his mom, then Louie. But what I expected Jeff to look like couldn't be farther than what I saw. He had long black hair, down to his shoulders, white, leathery skin, and that smile was the same smile I saw when he was in the class after he beat up Randy, Keith, and Troy. But Jeff looked right at me. Into my eyes, I could feel the soulless, sadistic eyes burn right into my soul. I still shake from the memory even now as I type this. He seemed to be looking at me for hours with that smile until he looked away. I saw him walk into the house with his parents. I didn't even breathe until the door finally closed behind them. My parents came into the living room and asked me what was wrong. My only reply was a long, loud scream. Then I fainted. When I finally woke up, it was dark outside. My parents were in their bedroom. The house was deadly quiet. I got up and went downstairs. I was wearing a long nightgown that I wasn't wearing before I fainted. I went downstairs to the kitchen. The lights were on, which was unusual. My parents always told me to turn off the lights in the room when I left. There was a note on the table. I picked it up. Crawling on the paper was this: "Are you coming to dinner? Your friends are here too." I began to shake violently. I dropped the paper and went to the living window and looked out. The lights were on Jeff's house. I knew that I had to go there, but I was terrified out of my mind. I shook my head and looked back again. I saw Jeff leaning on the window in the house, staring at me with the knife in his hand, tapped against the window. Tap, tap, tap. He was still smiling. Tap, tap, tap. I started stepping back from the window, never taking my eyes off of him. Then I turned and ran away from the window into the kitchen. When I peeked out of the kitchen to look at the window, all I saw was a smear of red on the window. I turned around and looked at the kitchen. Everything seemed to be in its place, even the knives. I grabbed one of them and held on tight. Then I found the phone and tried to dial 911, but the phone line was disconnected. I had no idea where Dad's cell phone was or if it was even fixed. I didn't want to go upstairs to find it. I didn't want to get stabbed in the back while I was looking for it, and if I went to ask one of the neighbors for help, Jeff could kill or hurt whoever he would have captive. So there was only one choice: to go to Jeff alone. I clutched the knife tighter, and went to the door, put on my shoes, and went outside. My hand lingered on the doorknob as I stepped outside, but I knew what I had to do. I let go of the doorknob and marched across the street to Jeff's house. As I got close to the front door of his house, I began to slow down. My knees began to shake, my palms began to sweat, and I started to breathe faster and shallow. Before I knew it, I was standing completely still on the front doorstep, feeling like a doll. I managed up the doorknob. I manned up, grabbed the doorknob, and squeezed my eyes shut and jerked it open. I stood there in the door with the knife in my right hand and the doorknob in my left, too terrified to open my eyes until I heard a voice says, "Looks like you made it. I'm glad you did, friend." I opened my eyes and screamed. His eyes were large and unblinking, and his smile was red. He had carved a smile into his face. His clothes were covered in blood, and then I passed out. When I woke up, I was at a dining room table. My knife was gone, and when I looked up, I saw people sitting at the table. Yeah. It was my parents, Jeff's parents, his brother Louie, and my friends. They were all dead, with smiles covering their faces and huge red cavities in their chests. The smell was unbearable. It was indescribable, unlike anything I have ever smelled before. It was smell of death. I tried to scream, but I had a gag in my mouth, and I was tied to a chair. I looked around the room in disbelief. The tears were welling in my eyes, and the silent sound of the bodies. Look who finally awake. I turned and looked beside me. Jeff was there. I tried screaming, but the gag was in the way. Suddenly, he was beside me with the knife against my throat. Shush, shush, shush. It's not polite to scream at friends. He began sliding the blade across my face, constantly tracing visible lines from the corner of my mouth up to my cheeks and a large grinning smile. I shivered as he did this. When I turned away from him, he grabbed the back of my head and forced me to look at the scene at the table. No, don't be rude. You're insulting everyone by not looking at their pretty faces. I looked back at the table, looking at everyone with their faces carved into smiles, and some with their chests still bled fresh blood. Hot tears began running down my face, and I began to sob. Oh, what's wrong, Jeff Part? Are you upset that you don't look beautiful like them? I looked at him trying to understand what he said, but I looked away when I saw his face again and looked back to the table. Don't worry, I'll make you look beautiful too. What do you say? He slid the knife under the guy and cut it off. I shot at the guy and looked at him straight in the eyes, trying to hold his gaze. He tilted his head to the side as he looked back at me. Then I shut my eyes and looked away from him. Then I muttered darkly, "Go fuck yourself." Then I turned to look at him. "You joker reject." He just laughed in my face. I preferred it when he just smiled. Listen,